another episode of the Travel Family Academy. My name is Paula, and today I'm going to tell you everything that you will need to consider before taking that flight with your baby, whether this is your first flight, whether your last one was an absolute shambles. Basically, this is for all of you that want to get back onto traveling, don't know how to do it, and the idea of it is so overwhelming that you really are struggling to get your head around it. So basically this video will actually help you succeed and will only lead to more travel for you and your family. So I hope this helps. So let's just get started. So first things first, I'm gonna divide this into sections. So we're gonna look into planning, then we're gonna look at the airport bits, then flight, and then arriving at destination. So I will give you a few pointers on each of these sections, so it just makes it easier for you to plan. So grab your pen and paper if you have one, and just start writing down. Okay, so before we start with the planning, I wanted to add that we are hosting a 5-day planning challenge where we basically give you all the tools and all the questions that you need for planning your own vacation. So this is basically a challenge where you can create your own plan of action. So rather than us telling you what to do, we are helping you get what you need done for your specific trip, for your specific family, get you to think of all the requirements you need. So I'm going to put the link below if you guys want to join. So just sign up with the link below and have a look at the sign up page. If you are looking for help on the planning, you won't regret it. Okay, so now on to the planning. So when you're planning the first flight with your baby, let's put it that way, you need to consider certain things. So firstly, you need to look at the age. So there is no real rule on how young can a newborn fly, for instance, but there are recommendations from the doctor. So we will always tell you, check with your doctor, your midwife before you take flight, and just make sure everything is okay for your newborn fly. Generally speaking, they say after they're the 4 weeks or as soon as their vaccinations are done, if that's something they're doing. But you just need to make sure you take this into consideration and don't fly too early as well, because you need to check with the airlines as well. Some airlines don't allow very young newborns, so you need to make sure that before you book this flight, you have checked with the airline and make sure that your child is fit to fly. Okay, so next, you want to think about documents. So if you are flying within the US, you will only need the birth certificate and you don't actually need a passport or ID card. But if you are flying internationally, or if you are from Europe and you're traveling within Europe, you will need a passport or ID card. So do make sure you check this before you fly and with enough time to get these documents done. So at least 4 weeks or 3 before your flight, so to ensure you do get these documents beforehand. I will also link a blog post below so you can cross-check all of this information I'm giving you, so it makes it more easy to process. But we have all of this in a blog post. I will add it to the description below so you can check it out. Another thing you'll need to consider before, while you're still planning your trip, insurance, travel insurance that you might need, and if you will need any visas. Because one thing that most people don't realize is babies do also need a visa, and we just sort of forget about this. So you need to make sure you have visas for the whole family. One good thing is some countries do visas on arrival, but again, you have to research this beforehand. You'll need to know this before you actually fly. So make sure you get this sorted, otherwise you might just arrive at a destination and be right back, or actually pay way more than what you would have to in the first place. Just make sure you get all of these documentations done while you are booking your flight, just to ensure that first bit is smooth, done, right. Okay, now on to the airport. So firstly, how are you getting to the airport is something that you need to consider. So you want to give yourself enough time to be at the airport, because there is more things to do with the baby. So when you used to go flying on your own and you go for security, it's just fast, easy, and straightforward. I mean, you might have to wait in a queue, but once you go through, you just go through. You don't have to worry about anything else. But when you are with a baby, it's a bit different. You have to run around, you catch them, or you have all of their liquids that you need to get through security, like things like that you need to consider. So you need time for it. So be good to yourself, give yourself time, give yourself enough time to get to the airport and enough time to be at the airport. One thing I like to do is checking the time I need to arrive at the airport, check how am I going to get to the airport if I'm driving, because it's not rush hour or anything like that, so driving I'll take the same amount of time. But if it's during rush hour, if it's not, I will try and leave earlier, and if I have to spend more time at the airport, so be it, but at least I won't be late, I won't be rushing, and I won't have to force my toddler to just sit on the stroller and do not move for the whole duration of the airport stay, which then is going to result in a very annoying, full of energy toddler for the flight, which I think. So these are the things that you need to consider, and it's better to start when they're really young. So like when they're a baby, if you already start applying rules, you will see that by the time they are toddlers and then you actually need that time at the airport and run around and play, you will already be used to arriving this early at the airport, so it'll just feel natural to you. So it's good to start early. Okay, so at the airport, as I said, you need to consider about the check-in, which takes time, or back drop. You also need to consider about the security time and how many queues, how long the queues are going. So you need to, so give yourself some time to get these two done, because then the most important bit is once you get through security to the airport, you'll need that time. Before I move on to that bit, just wanted to remind you guys about the security. If you are traveling with a baby or toddler, you are allowed to bring a liquid for security. They just have to go for a different screening. So you need to make sure you separate these and you give them to the TSA agents. But yes, just make sure it's okay for you to bring them, but just obviously just check or give it to someone for a different screening. So now, okay, so once you're through for security, this is your prime time to make the most of it and get your baby toddler tired. So if they're newborns, they will sleep most of the time and will sleep most of the flight as well. I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's about 4 or 5 months the plan would just sleep the whole flight. So they don't need to use much of their energy because they don't have that much just yet, so you'll be fine. But once they're toddlers, this is the perfect time for you to allow them to run around and move and jump and play. All of this time is great, because once you get the airplane, you won't have to worry about what to do if your child doesn't want to sit down, because at this point he will actually want to sit down and most likely will fall asleep, so on. We also recommend you locate your gate as soon as you have security. So if you already have your gate number, or if you don't, then just wait until you do. But when you do know your gate number, just locate it before you go and do anything else, just so you know exactly where it is, so you don't have to rush if you just lost track of time and then you're like, oh my god, everyone's boarding and you're on the other side of the airport. So it's better to locate the gate, find the amenities around there, and actually just enjoy around there. Even if the play area is on the other side of the airport, there's no point on you actually taking your toddler to the play area if it's going to take you the whole time to get there. So just look around there. Toddlers are pretty happy just playing with you, and that's another thing, like that connection with you. This is the best time for you to do it. Like, you have nothing else or anywhere else to go, you have to be there. So this is the perfect time for you to connect with your toddler, which is a great way of also getting them tired, because you're exercising their brain and you play games and you ask questions, and it's all in all the perfect time. And this is why we recommend you arriving to the airport with enough time and not rushing, because this time is essential so that the flight part also works well. Okay, so now it's time to board the flight. So there's obviously 2 options. You can board first, which is when you have a baby, you are allowed to board first, or you can board last. Boarding first, it's my personal preference, because I'd rather sit down and get everything sorted before everyone is starting to get in, so I don't have to feel too much pressure on getting things done. So I prefer to go first. But if you have a very active toddler and you feel like they still need to be out and playing a little bit more before boarding, this is a perfect time for you to board last. Just let everyone in first and then you go out at the end. I would only recommend this if you don't have a lot of hand luggage. So if you actually have hand luggage and you want to put it in the overhead bin, you might need to consider boarding first, because you might not have space. But if you only have backpacks to put underneath the seat in front of you, then absolutely fine to go last. Okay, so next for the flight, you need to look out for the ear pressure on takeoff and landing. So we always recommend to feed your baby at this point, whether it's breastfeeding, bottle feeding, snacks, or drinking water, sucking on a dummy. All of this is helpful for ear pressure. So it's always good for you to have have these at hand for takeoff as well as landing. Don't forget to bring your snacks for the flight. This is very important. We would never recommend you to just rely on the airport amenities as well as flight amenities, because you never know what they're gonna have available. Even if you've looked at the menu online, by the time you get to the airport, by the time you get to the flight, they might not have this item available. So do make sure you bring snacks that your toddler enjoys, that are mess-free. Obviously it's hard to be mess-free, but like the least mess of the items that your toddler eats. So make sure you think of these beforehand. This is perfect if you have, you can make like little muffins, or you can make like easy recipes that your toddler will enjoy, that are rich in protein and they are very healthy, and it's a great snack for the airplane. One way I like to plan the meals that I take is I see the direction of the trip. So from the moment I leave the house to the moment I arrive at the destination, and then I give myself a few extra meals, just a couple extra meals, just to be sure I am covered in case of delays or anything like that. So it's a good way of planning. So if I'm gonna leave my house at 10 a.m. and then only get to my destination at 10 p.m., that means I have to figure out lunch, afternoon snack, then dinner, and potentially breakfast the next day, because I won't arrive at the right time, go to the supermarket, So these are the certain things, the little details that we need to think about before our flight. And then the last thing for the flight is entertainment. Don't forget entertainment. Bring toys that are travel friendly, so like small toys, things that your toddler or baby really enjoy playing with. It's always good to bring new toys out on flight days, but not new that they've never played before. Something that they probably really enjoy playing, they haven't played in a while. You hide it away for a few days and bring it out on the airplane. Huge success. So just get things like that, whatever they enjoy playing with at home. Just get new versions of them. If you want to get new toys for flying, you just get new versions of that and bring it out. Again, for a toddler, you get the Montessori activity boards, you have puzzles, you have cubes, magnetic cubes, you have sticker books, coloring books, the water wow, all of these are great for flight entertainment, and you don't have to go crazy and bring a whole house behind you. You just have to bring toys that are engaging, that your toddler really enjoys playing with and takes time to play with this toy. So as long as you have that, you'll be fine. And don't forget, obviously, the tablet, or download some movies or some games on your phone so they can play with, because that's also a really good time for them to have a little downtime and screen time. Okay, so lastly is the arrival. So you're arriving at your destination. I've talked about visas. So if you have to do your visa on arrival, again, you all have to go together and get all the visas sorted. You also need to collect your baggage now and your stroller or car seats. You need to make sure that you know where to pick these up. So most times these items are in a different belt from your luggage. So make sure you check this beforehand, because sometimes it's really far from where your actual belt is. So you kind of have to play around and see who's gonna get that and who's gonna stay waiting for the suitcases and stuff like that. And now, if there is a big different time zone in between your home and your new destination, we recommend you just to live on the new time zone. Don't fall back into your home time zone, because it's just going to confuse you. It's going to be harder for your brain. It's going to be harder for the whole family. So it's better just to focus on the new time zone, and from then on, just try and play things as your routine would go at home. Try and do the same thing at the new destination. And also try and avoid screen times at nighttime. Try and avoid doing too much the first few days. Just give yourself some grace and try and enjoy. For instance, if you're in a hotel with a pool, just play at the pool, or if you go outside for like a little tour during the day, just don't overdo it, because these 3 days will be the adjusting period. So it's better to give yourself some time, to the whole family as well, not just your kids, but yourself too. You will be exhausted, so just make sure you do that. Okay, so this is it. This is like the main essential bits for you to know for flying with your baby. If you would like to know more, we have our course, The Ready to Fly Mom, where it explains how to do every single step that I've just talked about and way more. We have flight entertainment idea vaults, we have snack and recipes ideas, we also have the jet lag your ebook. We have checklists. We have regulations on car seats and strollers. Everything that you can think of for flying with babies and toddlers, we have answered it there in this course. So wherever you need, if you need any planning and you're really struggling, the course is you. And also it's lifetime access and it will always be updated. But again, if you're not ready to commit to the whole thing, we have our 5-day challenge that will help you plan for all of this as well, and will help you create your own plan of actions. You'll do the research all yourself, but we will basically give you everything that you need to think of so you don't forget anything. And the idea with this planning is so you create your own plan of action for your own travel, so it's, you know, done and you don't have to worry about it and think, oh my god, am I forgetting anything? Am I forgetting anything? So it's all done for you. We also have a workshop on getting your baby to sleep on every flight. We share with you our 3-step proven formula where we have tested it many times. We have had other moms test it, and it's basically, it guarantees your toddler to sleep on every flight. And we teach you our secrets, everything that we failed, everything that we actually worked out, and everything that's in between. So we basically teach you the 3 things you have to get done for that flight to guarantee your toddler or your baby to sleep. Okay, so that's it for me from today. So I hope to see you guys next week. Remember to subscribe and like this video for more. And thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.